Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Welcome back if you've been here before. This is just going to be a story on a mistake that I made on my first day out with my camera. Before I get into it though, the camera that I use is a Canon 7D Mark I, and the lens that I was using on that particular day was the nifty 50mm lens. So the story begins with my wife and I heading out to a small community and planning to do a nature walk. I decided to bring my camera along with me just to kind of practice, capture some moments and whatnot. Before heading out, I decided that I was going to shoot the whole day in aperture priority or AV mode on the camera, which on the Canon camera can be found on the dial up here. You just turn it where it says AV and then it lines up with the white tick there. The reason why I went with the AV mode is because there was a video that I watched where a guy went out and shot a bunch of street photography in AV mode or aperture priority mode and said that he was going to run an aperture of around 8. So that's what I did. I put it in the AV aperture mode and I set it to 8. Putting it in the aperture priority mode, the shutter speed and the ISO would auto fluctuate. I didn't know at the time and I still haven't looked into it, but I didn't realize that you could set a range from where the shutter speed will stay within as well as the ISO, which is something that I should probably look into before I go back out and shoot it in the aperture priority mode if I decide to. Not doing that, not knowing that, I set in my aperture priority mode. We headed out. We were walking around. I was snapping photos of anything that was remotely looked kind of interesting to me, something that would kind of highlight where we were, cool little features about the area and whatnot. Not being able to tell on the LCD screen on the back of the camera how the images are actually turning out. They looked like they were okay on the back of it. After being there for a few hours, snapping a bunch of different photos and whatnot, something caught my attention and I noticed that the shutter speed was dropping down to like 1/20, which is 1/20th of a second. If anybody knows anything about cameras, that is a pretty slow shutter speed. Even after reviewing the images, I thought the images were going to be okay, but I decided to put it in manual mode and just shot manual mode the rest of the way. When we got home and I uploaded the images to my computer and I was going through them, I was actually kind of disappointed because there was a few images that the angle was right. I really enjoyed the way that it looked on the LCD screen, but when I had it up on the computer, I noticed there was a lot of motion blur in it, which was my fault, not knowing. Going forward, what I'm going to do in the aperture priority mode, if I decide to shoot in that mode, is I'm going to dive into the camera and I am going to look at the different settings just to see if I can set like a range for both of them to stay within, so then something like this doesn't happen. To say that those photos from that day were a complete waste, they aren't. There aren't very many that I would actually edit and share with you guys, even though at the end of this video I do plan on showing you guys the images, maybe just the raw form of the images, just to show you guys what I'm talking about. It is a little bit of a learning curve. I was a little bit disappointed and let down. Like anything though, you're gonna learn from your mistakes. These videos are just gonna act as like a little bit of a video diary for myself to kind of look back on. If you guys gain anything from it or you learn anything from it, that's even better. Let me know in the comments below though if you've had any experiences like this. Hopefully you enjoyed this little story. If you have, thumbs up, subscribe. And now here are the photos that I took of that day.